The 1970s business attitude was still very formal. I had started a job at the Federal Reserve Bank in the mail department. Just like in the movies, the mail department opened the mail, sorted it, put it in carts, and wheeled the carts around the bank, delivering mail to the departments and the department managers. Unlike the movies, we were required to dress in business attire. That meant a suit, white shirt and tie, dress shoes. The ladies of the bank wore dresses or skirts and blouses. I worked very hard, going beyond what was required, making sure I was in front of my managers or supervisors, that I was being noticed. I climbed the ladder quite rapidly, becoming an assistant department manager. Training in the bank was very important. The managers of the Federal Reserve were being sent for a week-long training in California to become better managers. Not too long and my turn came. You have to understand, I was from a humble family. I had not traveled outside of Utah. I did not know my way around. As I got to the airport, I found that my flight was delayed. After 4 hours of sitting at the airport waiting, we were boarded on the plane and took off. I was supposed to meet other people in San Francisco, and we would rent a car and drive down to the training. Well, needless to say, after a 4-hour delay, I had missed the other people I was to meet. I was able to rent a car on my own. I got in and found the highway and headed towards where the training was supposed to be. I had not traveled outside of Utah. The scenery was beautiful. Large farms, lots of fields of garlic. I was just totally amazed. By the time I got to the area where the training was to be, it was dark. I got off of the highway and into the town. I was not sure where to go, and I was having trouble seeing street signs, so I found a payphone. Cell phones hadn't been invented yet. I called the number I had and was told where to go, that I was very close. I pulled up to the gate, was told where to park and what house I would be staying in. I got my suitcase out of the car, walked up the boardwalk, and as I neared the top of the hill, there was this horrible crashing sound. I was so frightened, I turned around like a rabbit and sprinted down to the parking lot. I stood there with my heart racing, not knowing what was going on. Again came the crashing sound, and by the third time, I realized it was in a rhythm. What I was hearing was the ocean crashing on the shore. I walked back up to the top of the hill, and as I stopped, I looked out and I could see there in front of me was the Pacific Ocean. In the morning, with the daylight, I could see we were staying in houses that were right on the ocean front. It was gorgeous. We had been told that this was very serious training. We were not to bring toys. We were not to bring play clothes. We were to learn to be better managers. We went to the first session of training. It was intense. A full day of training that just pounded in your head. At the end of the day, our group was a small or younger group than the other groups, and we decided that we could not be in such a pretty environment and not take advantage of it. So we went out and played on the beach. Some nights we would play tennis on the tennis courts, and other evenings we would go for a ride in the car, enjoying the scenery. After we had unwound from the day's lessons, we would go back to our house, sit in front of the fireplace, and accomplish the task that we had been given to present our project the next day in front of the group. The instructor was very, very upset. He did not understand why we were doing such a good job when we were not following the instructions that we were not to play. But about the middle of the week, his attention was drawn away from us. The other groups were having problems. They were beginning to argue and bicker. And Wednesday evening, one of the groups went into town, came back with a bottle of liquor, and they got drunk. There was a fight. The instructor had to break it up. One of the members of the team was escorted out and sent home early. Our group just went on doing what we had been doing, enjoying the surroundings and learning very well. The instructor was shocked at how well we did, how well we had learned the lessons. He had never seen a group do so well in all of his training. After that, the instructions for the future trainings were changed just a little bit. They were still told it was extreme training, that it was business. But the part about not taking toys, the part about not being able to go out and enjoy the surroundings was left out of the instructions. Our small group learned more than any other group had ever learned. And much of the training today now includes time and activities that builds camaraderie among the consortium. I learned so much from that trip. I learned that I could take on a new challenge and strike out on new adventures. That the unknown that could be so frightening in the daylight was beautiful. That rigid structure may not always be the best course, and that the few who chose to do things down a different path often changed the course of how things were for the future.